A very pleasant good morning to each and every one of you. Welcome to what is long overdue, remembering Pan-Africanist, a great woman, the very first lady of Jamaica. Just before I started, Denise Isis Miller picked me up in remembering our mama. But I have to share that with Frank Snatcher. Could you please stand? I have to share that with Everton Douglas, because he's from the community. Could you please stand? These are the people that remember Amy Jacques Garvey every single day, because this is where they lived. So her image is in their mind. Thank you. Amy Euphemia Jacques Garvey was born on the 31st of December, 1896 in Kingston, Jamaica. She was the eldest child of George Samuel and Charlotte Henrietta Jacques, nee South. She attended Wilmer's Prep and later went on to high school where she graduated with the highest honors. In 1913, she started working with a law firm and stayed with that firm for 4 years, leaving them in 1917. During this period, she was urged by her father to read magazines and newspapers so that she could have a good grasp on world affairs. This she did with pleasure, becoming very knowledgeable in world history, current affairs, and Pan-Africanism. In 1917, she migrated to the United States of America and promised her mother that she would be away for only 3 months. Her father passed away in 1915. This did not happen as planned, as she was infected with Garveyism. Having met the right excellent Marcus Mosiah Garvey in America, this was to be the start of her lifelong journey, culminating in she becoming the second wife to Mr. Garvey. So in 1922, she got married to Mr. Garvey and was with him until he died in 1940, the 10th of June. She had 2 sons for him, Marcus Garvey Jr. in 1930 and Julius Garvey, Dr. Julius Garvey, in 1933. During her marriage to Mr. Garvey, she had on occasion had to be the interim leader of his organization, the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League, which she did with great competence. This happened in 1922, February 21st, when Mr. Garvey was convicted and sent to prison. Amy Jacques Garvey was the head of the Woman Auxiliary Group of the UNIA. She also was the editor of the newspaper, The Negro World. In 1925, she made one of her most famous quotations in regards to women while addressing the UNIA meeting in New York City, in which she said, "Be not discouraged, black women of the world, but push forward regardless of the lack of appreciation shown to you." After Mr. Garvey was deported to Jamaica in 1927, she worked tirelessly in the service of uplifting the black peoples of the world. She continued to publish the newspaper of the UNIA. In 1934, when Mr. Garvey left for England, she made the conscious decision to stay behind to raise her 2 boys who were 1 and 4 years old at that time. Mr. Garvey died in England on June 10, 1940. But this did not dampen her spirit to work for the liberation of African peoples of the world. In 1963, she published her first book, Garvey and Garveyism, and a booklet, Black Power in America, The Power of the Human Spirit. She was also in 1963 to visit Nigeria as a guest of the first African president, the Honorable Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. In continuing her great works for black liberation in 1968, she assisted Dr. John Henry Clark in editing the book, Marcus Garvey and the Vision of Africa. In 1971, she was awarded the Musgrave Medal, and a Hall of Fame was named after her at the University of Technology, the Amy Jacques Garvey Hall. Of note, we must remember that she was in 1920 awarded the title as the First Lady of Africa due to the fact that Mr. Garvey was voted as the Provincial President of Africa at the International Convention of the UNIA and ACL. So between December 31st, 1896 and July 25th, 1973, a period of 77 years, she lived a tireless life, but extremely fruitful. She would have been 126 years old today. Rest in peace, First Lady Amy. Baba Amy, mother, editor, publisher, feminist, Pan-Africanist, activist, author, race activist, human rights defender, and by any nomenclature we want to use, Amy Euphemia Jacques Garvey shall be remembered for her contribution to uplift the lives of African people the world over until eternity. I raise my staff to you, Mama. We will never forget you. No matter how they shove you underneath the carpet, we'll never forget you. Frank Marshall did never forget you. Heberton Douglas did never forget you. The people of Jakes Road community did never forget you. And the people of the world will never, ever forget you. Ashe.